Thank you everyone for joining. We have Dara Taylor with me right now, who is the composer for the movie The Invitation. And I want to start off by saying this is an absolute pleasure to interview you. I don't usually get to interview a lot of composers because I'm quite intimidated.
Oh,
Because I'm not too sure how to even ask. How do you do such an abstract and amazing thing where you take literally something from nothing and then create music? Can you share with us your background and your musical journey? Because I'm just fascinated by the whole process.
yeah. I mean, it's a lot of play, and I feel like a lot of my musical taste is like rooted in play. And this film, in general, like really helped me be able to play around. And Jess Thompson, the director, was um, really into just like kind of exploring with me, which was great. It was just like pushing me to be weird. It was great. But I started. I mean, I was a chorus nerd, band nerd, musical
Band
theater.
nerd?
Yeah.
Marching band or orchestra?
Well, wind ensemble. I played clarinet very poorly. And then I was
Very poorly.
yeah, I was not good. But I played it for years. I played it all the way through. I played all the way through elementary, middle, and high school.
Then you
Um,
couldn't have been horrible if you were playing that long.
my hands still remember like the fingerings, which is cool. I'm like, how do you remember that? I don't remember that. Yeah, but I was mostly a vocalist. I was a better vocalist than I was a clarinet player. I went to undergrad at Cornell and I studied classical voice. So I studied as a mezzo soprano, singing like art songs and arias and all of that. But I went into music because I loved music, and I went into vocals because that's what I knew. But it just didn't. I don't know. Performing for a living just didn't feel like it was it. I mean, probably because I didn't practice enough. It's like I'm like, oh, I'm just all alone in this room. So I chose another career where I'm all alone in a different room. But
In a different room.
I just want to find something a little more kind of behind the scenes. And like I caught the composition bug in probably like sophomore year of college, where I was studying kind of contemporary classical composition, but also like really knew that film music was where I wanted to go. And it was just like, how do I get there? So I studied and I wrote, kind of like concert works and chamber pieces and stuff in college. And then went off to the NYU film scoring master's program. So that's kind of where I learned more about, sensibilities and writing for picture, not just, writing for music's sake, and like learning how to, react to the scene and those sorts of things. And I stayed in New York for a while, like trying to do the thing. I was having a hard time doing the thing. I was like working in fundraising at PBS with like major gifts.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, it's like I found a job. It was fun, and like the people were great. But like, I was working there for a while, but I kept on like, doing well and like getting promoted. And I'm like, I'm rising the ladder that I don't think I want to be on.
Ah, but you
So
make it sound like a movie. Like you just like just kept progressing on and on. Like that's fantastic. But like during that whole thing, like this, you just felt something unsettling. Like there's like this is not it.
Yeah, and I knew what I wanted to do. Like I got myself into debt. I'm gonna do the thing. So like it was always on my
That's the story of all our lives.
yeah, I spent all this imaginary Monopoly money. I am going to do it.
Was there a particular film that like started to trigger that thought?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to a lot of like the films of that era. So I listened to a lot of like Pirates of the Caribbean.
That is
Things,
empowering.
and
Yeah.
and the score that actually like when I was listening to when I had my aha moment was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
it's weird because you hear people ask like, oh, do you have this like aha moment? And it's like, do people really do that? But I didn't. Like I remember it very clearly, and it's strange.
Because it was so monumental, the turning point in your
Yeah,
life.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is it. Yeah, those are my favorite books growing up. And I remember like this is going way off topic now, but I
It's
remember
okay.
I remember going to my public library and renting after like I read the books, renting this like dual VHS set of a BBC version
So
of the
did
live.
I.
Yes, where like the potatoes were like big, or the beavers were like big potatoes. Yes, and I rented it over and over and over again and watched it over and over and over again.
Kind of here because I listened to the sampling that, well, not the sampling, the music they gave us to check out. To be fair, I couldn't make it all the way through because it started to creep me out.
Oh, good, it's doing its job.
Oh my god. I was like, okay, this could be easy listening, and I was so wrong. And I don't know if this was your intention or if it's just because I'm a scaredy cat, but the music starts off like really soft and you're like, okay, this is cool. And then it gets to this like almost pinpricking of your soul kind of thing. And you're like, oh, I need to close the door.
Yeah.
Like, can you talk about how that started, the process where you approached to do the invitation, or did you reach out to them to do the music for the movie?
Yeah, I sent in a reel. I'm not sure which direction that went in, but but yeah, I sent in a reel and I had a meeting with the director, and that went really well. And I feel like we both had some ideas of like, the music's role in the film, and like, again, we're both not afraid to like just try some stuff. Um,
Did you already know about the whole story when you sent in the reel, or just kind of had that idea that it was about something scary?
I think I had like a bit of the story. I think I knew that it was. I think I knew it was vampire based. I think I
Which,
have
by
to
the
go.
way, I felt like a dork because I didn't get vampire because I had to close my eyes for most of the trailer because it got so bloody. Like, can you share when you were composing all this? Is there like a sound or a melody that for you is like, okay, this is like for me what it means like for vampires, or like what's the heart of the movie?
I guess it might be, a few things. I guess probably the heart. I guess the heart of the movie to me are the vocals, and
And
that's
that's not
something.
like that chorus kind of thing. That very
Yeah,
oh, that was so spooky.
yeah,
How
and
many
both Jess
people
and
were
I
singing that?
agree.
3? Oh, that
Yeah,
came from 3?
yeah. So it was
Ugh.
just three people, and Jess and I both really like the idea of like, female vocals. So like the three singers represent like the three brides of Dracula. So it was so we
That's
recorded them.
cool.
Yeah. So they were like this beckoning siren call that were kind of happening throughout the.
Oh, that's even creepier.
Yeah. and like and like I tried to make, because vocals can be soothing, but I
Mhm.
tried to like not let that happen. Basically, I recorded them and then I reversed them. So everything you hear is a reversed version, or at least a good chunk of it is like a
Oh,
reverse of what they sang, just because it adds this like extra unsettling quality.
that's
But
what it
it's
was.
comfortable, but it's not, and you're like, oh, why does this make me uneasy? And then just like adding a lot of processing and like distortion and stuff to like make them feel eerie.
When I get the courage to listen to it again, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to watch the movie.
Yeah.
I need to watch it at daytime with lots of stuffed animals because I'm
Yeah.
very scared. But that's the thing, like something about the music like drew me in. So I think you're kind of like the trap a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Did you kind of have to tell them like, okay, no, like you have to pretend to be like you're scared, or like you have to guide their emotions, like don't try to sing this too melodic, like
Yeah,
what kind of direction
yeah,
to get?
scratch vocals. So I did all the scratch vocals before they re-recorded them, and like they could hear the
Oh,
different kind of tones of it to follow. But yeah, it was great. I mean, I worked with three amazing singers. I have some pictures on Instagram of like, them like fake attacking me.
that's so cute.
they were
I
they were
wonder if they practiced at home and how creeped out their neighbors were. And
Yeah, no, it was a great day. I mean, I love choir days in general. And like I worked with this amazing like vocal contractor, Blair, and she's she's just like such an integral part of like the my team, and how she like directs the singers, and like comes up with all these like great ways to describe the sound that we're looking for. And like I think because I was trained as a vocalist, like so it felt like really personal to be able
Aw.
to have vocals in this and to have them be so prevalent and present, and not just like a color as they are oftentimes in score.
What was there like a fun direction that she would give them?
I mean, let's see. I mean, I don't think it was on this score, but I get like fun to have her say things like, make it more Disney, or
Make
make
it
it
more Disney?
more not on this film, but because I worked with her on a few things, or like just like your best Disney princess. And or actually there is a track on there where like we tried a version doing a few different things. We wanted it to sound extra sweet and saccharine, and yeah, it's
Like, did you have to coordinate the music along with the scenes, or did the director give you prompts like, for this part, I want it to be this kind of feeling?
yeah, I mean a little bit of both. I mean, when we first go through like the spotting process, as they call it, when
Mhm.
you watch the whole movie through, and we discuss like where music should come in, where it should end, what the tone should
Oh.
be. So then after that, I do a first pass, and we watch it through, and then she'll give me notes and direction on different things to do or try, or like let's maybe come out here, or let's not be this dark until Evie leaves the main
Oh.
character, because we don't want to be ahead of her. Yeah, so a lot of those things, and a lot of it was like if there's like a low boom or hit, like finding something extra high to add on top, because it's a movie about
Mhm.
a woman made by a lot of women, so just like have
Mhm.
something that feels more, find the strength in the high and not just the strength in the low.
Oh. 'Cause going from, like, you composing and from the main character, there's a whole gist of female empowerment
Yeah.
going on with this. Is there any other ways that you tied that into the music other than, like, the high and low quality?
Yeah, I mean, between that and vocals, yeah, or just like, yeah, just trying to find, really following the character, and her journey, I think helps.
Was there anything during the process that you had to tweak that you were, like, surprised that it actually worked?
No, I mean her notes were pretty good. So like, I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This makes things better. Yes. No, I don't think so in this project. I mean, I think I've had that experience, but I don't think that was here. Um,
Or is there just anything in
yeah.
general that you're like, "I'll never put that in my music because that's super annoying."
I mean, yeah, things do overplay themselves over time. Um, but yeah, but I think even in her notes and directions to like have impacts be both high and low kind of helped get out of those tropes.
Are you the type of person that, like, in your everyday life, you just collect sounds or collect music and you have, like, an archive of things to collect from? Or do you kinda, like, watch a movie, you're like, "I could do this differently," and just have your own little thing of that?
I don't really listen to things and think I can do them differently. I think I'm a strong believer that the best um, music for the film is the one that makes it to the dub. Everyone made their own decisions for a purpose, so
Mm.
I'm happy with them, and like the music and everything is so subjective. But no, I do collect sound, or I pay a lot of attention to like the sounds, and even like the sounds of things around me. Like my dishwasher has like a really cool beat sometimes it gets into somewhere in the cycle. Like, oh, there it goes. So I'm just like, and I love the idea of like using kind of like found sounds and things. And even in the invitation, there were moments where we wanted to have things that sounded like scraping pottery, because Evie, she does ceramics, and that is like her kind of like
Oh.
artistic calling, and there are a lot of like service bells throughout the film, so like
Mhm.
using the bell tones and like kind of having those be like in the ether in the score sometimes. So
Ooh.
yeah, so I love like finding the music in the everyday as well. It's one of my favorite things to play around with.
I skimmed through the list of movies that you composed for, and it is wackadoodle, and like you did the Ugly Dolls.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, I worked on the Ugly Dolls. So,
Yeah, we
like,
worked
yeah,
on
the
the Ugly
music
Dolls.
department. Yeah, I worked in the music department of the Ugly
And
Dolls.
now you're working on The Invitation.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
am I on the right person?
Yeah. Yeah,
Is there
I worked in Dick Lennox for 6 years, and he scored the Ugly Dolls. But yeah, I mean, I scored a Curious George movie.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Right before this, so yeah, it's fun to like do a little bit of everything. You know, a lot of comedies and holiday films, and then a horror film, and then an animated thing, and
You
it's
must
just fun
have
to
so
like
much fun switching
explore.
back and forth.
Yeah, it's fun to like explore all those different parts of you. It's like therapy.
Is there a genre that you haven't worked on yet that you would love to work on?
You know, I've never done a game before, which I know is not, you know, less a genre, more like an entirely different beast.
Ooh,
Um,
like a video
so
game?
yeah, so it just
Ooh.
seems like a really like daunting but fun task that maybe one day I'll I'll try and get my foot in there. But
Any
no, I mean
particular kind of game?
I like kind of like fantasy games and that sort of thing. But who knows? We'll see. But I no, but I mean I love but you know, also in films, like I love heist movies too, or like anything with a heist element to it. So like I did a short for Illumination that's like on the Sing 2 DVD release
What?
called for Gunter's Eyes Only, and it's like, you know, he's like a secret agent. It was so fun to work on.
Oh, that's so cute. I had no idea. And but although for something like video games, the music can be, especially for like Final Fantasy World,
Yeah.
the music can be really, really iconic to the
Yeah.
series. Do you worry about the pressure about that? About having something create something to be iconic?
A little bit, but you know, you step into challenges and you hope you can meet the task at hand.
I mean, no matter which genre or which thing, if you could try to make something where it's like something iconic, which like how do you think you would it be for like a film, or like what kind of music do you think you would want to be your iconic signature?
I love it again when like things can get weird. Like, you know, like the White Lotus, I think that
Ooh.
won for best main title this year at the Emmys. And then you're just like, what? Um, like that's like my favorite reaction to have, and that's like, you know, kind of like my ideal reaction to get. It's like, what was that? And why do I love it?
So you want people to be confused.
Yeah, my favorite. I mean, I think that's why I like to play around with like found sounds and stuff too. Because my favorite question is like, what is that instrument? I'm like, let's take up all the processing and find out. Oh, look, that was a whistle. You know.
So your aim is to be confusing and
Yeah.
mysterious and a puzzle.
But fun, you know, at the
But
same time.
fun. Not quite easy listening, or
You know?
what you're hoping the audience will feel when they're listening to the music as they're watching the movie.
I mean, you know, the goal of any film score is to kind of heighten the storytelling experience. So like I want them to feel, you know, as scared or unsettled as what they're watching is. And to
So
only
it's not going to be an easy watch.
Yeah. Or
People are
I
going to
want
be on edge.
Yeah, exactly. So that is the goal of that film.
I wonder if you go to a theater, you watch people like watching like this, are you going to go, yes?
Yes, I won. Yeah.
And then just kind of a fun question. What is on your playlist right now that would surprise people?
My playlist. I mean, I will be honest, I am a re-listener. I listen to a lot of the same stuff I listened to like in college or just outside of college. So like I have a very folksy soul, I want to say. Um, so like there's this great band called Elizabeth and the Catapult. They're like an indie, yeah, they're like an indie Brooklyn band. I went to a couple of their shows when I lived in Brooklyn. Um, And like I just keep on re-listening to this same album from 2009 called Taller Children. Uh, and like Fiona Apple and like the whole, you know.
Would you like to provide any final thoughts or that you'd like to share with anyone curious about the invitation?
Go and see it. It's a fun ride.
Well,
Like
thank you
overall.
so much for taking the time to do this interview. I really appreciate it. But like I said, I'm kind of scared to watch the movie, but I'm going to try. But I think that's your goal.
You can do it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.